What's going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another video. In this video, I'm trying something different, something I have never ever done. If you guys want to check up on that, I have never ran steel in this whole year that Lorcana has been out. I've stuck to like hyper aggro, red purple, and red blue. Pretty much anything red, honestly. I just like be prepared too much to walk away from it. But I do think purple steel is a really good deck. My cousin personally plays it and he does really well with it. I've gone against other players that play with it and either they win or I barely win, and it's like I can see it's a good deck because it has all the destruction, all the damage stuff that is steel. But then it also has a lot of card draw, which is amethyst. And I do love the card draw. Steel might not be as a hard removal like the ladies in red or be prepared or even dragon's fire that no one really uses. But that's a hard removal. Rather than Zeus only does 5 damage. But if you have like a Tamatoa or something, like it won't get rid of it, but it'll do a good damage. Like it'll apply a lot of damage to it, but it won't get rid of it. Not like Dragon's Fire that will just completely remove it, or even Maleficent Dragon or whatever. So I love red for that aspect, and then I love Amethyst because of the card draw. So that's why I did Ruby Amethyst for a really long time. But with this new set coming up with Arcasia's Island, I am liking purple steel. I think that's something I might mess with in the beginning of the format. And also blue got a lot of love, so I might do blue steel. But since I haven't really messed with steel, I kind of want to start getting a little bit of practice with it. So that's why I'm like, you know what, let me build purple steel and get a little bit of practice before Arcasia's Island, since it's like a week away. I know for the first weekend, I'll be doing sealed events. I'll be recording that. I'll probably do 3. And the following weekend, like, when is it? Like, maybe like the 15th or something, the middle of the month, I'll be actually playing in a tournament with the new set being legal. Because for the first week, I'll just be doing sealed events and just getting product pretty much. But anyways, I want to practice with steel because I don't know if I will be doing purple steel or blue steel, depending which one is more my play style. I don't know if even red steel, to be honest, looks pretty good. But the only problem with that, you don't really have a lot of card draw unless you run dock. But even then, you're only getting 2, and you have to have an empty hand for it to be like max value. But yeah, so let me know in the comments below, what deck are you guys planning on building? I know Baja Blast is kind of like the main topic. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like Ink Geyser might be a little too broken, but I don't think it's that crazy. But we'll see. A little backstory about purple steel. When I was playing it, I was treating it a lot like Ruby Amethyst. I was abusing the rabbit. I was questing, bounce, summon, quest, bounce, summon, bounce. That's pretty much all I was doing. And it got to the point where I wasn't entering his board, and I was just drawing cards. And I think I chose a bad matchup to do that against, because we know EA Tempo can start gaining lore pretty fast, and they have goats and white rose, and it's just, you know, if we're racing, they probably beat me. So I noticed that like towards the middle of the game, I'm like, I have a lot of cards in my hand and I'm not really entering the board. I'm not really questing. I'm just doing what Ruby Amethyst does. But the problem here is that I don't have B prep. That's the beauty about Ruby Amethyst, where you can spend 2-3 turns just drawing cards, and your opponent can go wide, and then you're like, okay, B prep, reset, let's go. Now I have more card draws, more cards in my hand than you, Therefore, I have more resources, and we both have an empty board. So I really got to stay away from that mindset. I guess just I've been playing that since forever, that once I see amethyst, like once I see like the bounce package, I'm like, oh, rabbit, let me just bounce. Let me just get this card draws. Let me get a huge amount of cards, especially if I'm not going against anything that has, or that I think it has, wheel. Then I have nothing to worry about. You know, I'm like, I could have 20 cards in hand. It's not like they're going to discard it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But and with Ruby Sapphire, yeah, you don't draw as much. I mean, if you see Hiram and they don't get rid of it and you get value with Hiram, that's really great. But I think Amethyst is really the colors that just draw. So right here I have a rabbit, a snake, and a Lawrence Exerted. He has Medusa. I was gonna say Medusa. Well, he just summoned a Nosa. He has a Cloud Kicker, a Rabbit, and an Ursula. And we're not looking too bad, to be honest. He's at 6 lore. I'm at 3. I will be changing the lore counters very soon. It is a little bit hard to see, but he's entering my board a little bit, and he's also, he did a lot of damage. Another card that I'm thinking of adding, and let me know in the comments below, I'm thinking of adding 1 Grab Your Swords. What do you guys think about that? Is Grab Your Sword a good card for Purple Steel? Again, this is my first time ever running Purple Steel. Another question is, if you guys have any advice or a good list that I can like go based on, let me know in the comments below. I haven't really done many like research about the top Purple Steel deck. I just kind of put something together that is kind of like the basic stuff, I guess. But I haven't really looked into anything that has won any major events or has done well in any major events. So yeah, I do have, I think, two copies of the libraries. I think that card is good, but might not be extremely good in this deck. Again, when I went on Tuesday to my locals at Wildcard, it was more for like testing, just getting the rhythm of Steel, to be honest, because you have Genie, you have Goat, you have Rabbit. What else? I can't think of something else on the top of my head. But all those 4-cost cards that can sing you Zeus, so good, man. Zeus is such a great card. Because, well, if you're able to sing it, if you have to pay for it, it's a huge setback. But if you're able to sing it, remove something, and then bounce whatever you sang with Fox and remove something else, it's so good. I can see this deck having a lot of potential. I can. I do think it's A tier, personally, me. But I just haven't heard a lot about it, so I can be wrong. So please share with me if you guys have any lists or any ideas that you guys want to share in the comments below. We'll definitely take them into consideration. Another thing, if you guys are liking the content, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. The giveaways are coming soon. I was going to do another giveaway, but honestly, I've been very busy with work and I just haven't had time. But since Arcasia's Island is around the corner, I'll probably just be doing giveaways with the new set, because I'm assuming a lot of people want cards from the new set and not the older set. So I'll probably hold off on that just for a week or so, a little bit more. I will be getting a good amount of products. So if I get something that I know I don't need, or something that I think might be a good giveaway, then I'll announce it. But my opponent has 2 Elsas, and honestly, like, I didn't have Elsas, and I think I only had 1 Genie. I also built this deck right before the tournament started. I needed some cards from a friend, some Steel cards that I didn't have. Again, I never ran Steel, so I never bothered getting them. And by the time I put them into the deck, I had to sleeve the deck. I didn't really check the ratios of my cards, and I think I only had one genie throughout this round. And not being able to answer Elsa's was a little hard. Having to Zeus them, I mean, yeah, it's a good idea, but you want to enter them faster because then she's able to quest without without just without feeling like there's a threat. And he has two Elsas, a goat and a rabbit, and I know that goat is very dangerous because he could quest, bounce, summon, and he's just gonna wrap up this game. I'm at 6, slowly gaining lore with library, but he's not entering library. For him, he doesn't care about library. He's just like, you know what, this is a race. I'm just gonna try to outrace you, because he can go to 15. He does present lethal, and now he presents lethal even more. And it's just like, dude, knowing that your opponent doesn't have a B prep, you feel so like, I can do whatever the fuck I want, you know? And this at this specifically point, I feel like it's what hurt me the most, because I was just bouncing rabbit. I was just drawing cards, trying to find answers or trying to just have options for answers. And I forgot about Clarabelle, to be honest. I mean, I know a lot of EA tempos don't run it, but some do. But because I had a massive hand, he summoned Clarabelle, ended his turn, and drew like 3 or 4 cards, which just gave him maybe one more goat, maybe a go-go, maybe a bounce package. And it's just going to help him close out the game. I started clearing out the board a little too late, unfortunately. As you guys can see, he only has 2 cards on the field, but now he has 7 cards in hand because he drew so much from his Clarabelle, which, you know, it does suck, but you learn from your mistakes. And I was able to even take out Clarabelle. I hit it with Zeus, and then I summoned Elsa, moving it to the castle, exerting it, finishing it off, drawing a card because it was in the castle. I left it with only 1 card on the field, which was a snake, but unfortunately, he drew so many cards off that Clarabelle. He had answers. He had goats going up to 18, and then go closing out the game. But yeah, that was my fault. Again, I am really am approaching this as a Ruby Amethyst, and I think I should step away from that. First time ever playing. I know it's not an excuse, but it's just, I see purple, I see rabbit, and I'm like, bounce. I just want to draw. That's pretty much it. Especially if I know my opponent doesn't have steel, because then I don't really have to worry about my hand getting destroyed or whatever. I guess in the near future for Baja Blast, maybe Bend to My Will might be a problem, and I shouldn't be drawing that much. But right now, no one really uses it, so I was just drawing. In this game, I went wide, but his Gogo has evasive. I don't have a lot of evasive characters. I mean, I have the Elsas and the Genie, but I think I only had 1 Genie, I think. And Elsas, I think I'm at 3, but I should bump it up to 4, maybe. Let me know in the comments if I should put it up to 4. And but yeah, so he has a Gogo and a Fox. I have 2 1-cost cards that will generate me card draw, which is good. I love this Amethyst stuff where they just give you stuff, you know. They're like, okay, like, you destroy it, but I drew a card, so that's fine. It replaces itself. Right here, I was thinking if I should quest or not. I mean, if I should use this effect, because I do have a Fox. So I was like, okay, if I leave it exerted, he might attack it with Gogo, and Gogo gets destroyed. So I kind of wanted to bait him into that. I summoned Fox, bouncing Diablo, and getting rid of his Fox. And now he has a Gogo. I have a Shredder box. So I'm like, okay, if you challenge, our monsters both get removed. You're gonna have a new character. That's fine. He did summon Ursula, but I didn't have any songs, which was kind of crazy because I had like 5, 6 cards in hand. He summoned the other Clarabelle, and he's thinking right here, like, do I want you to do the card draw or do I not? So he did not. He quested, so he didn't go for the bait, which I was kind of a little bit bummed out about it because I was hoping to get rid of that. I had a lot of cards in my hand, so I didn't mind. He only has 2 cards in hand, and this is another mistake that I caught, or that I noticed a little later on. I knew Clarabelle can shift. I'm not saying I didn't, but I thought she was a shift 6, not a shift 5. And knowing those little things can pivot the whole game. Because right here he inks and he shifts his Clarabelle. He only has 1 card in hand, and I have like 5 or 6. So he's going to get a whole new hand. And if I knew that was the case, I would have not summoned Rabbit. I would have done something else. Or I probably would have played Zeus to get rid of his Clarabelle. But again, I was mistaken. I thought it was a shift 6, not a shift 5. And he just drew so many cards. And I was like, damn, I'm giving this guy hella resource for just not knowing my cards, you know. So in competitive playing, I like to, even at my locals, I like to view my plays, see my matches, and play like if there's high stakes. Even though if you're just winning 10 packs or 8 packs or whatever, I'm still treating it like I need to not do mistakes. And if I lose, it's not because I made mistakes. It's just my opponent had better answers. But in this matchup, I was doing plenty of mistakes. And I wasn't really like playing Amethyst Steel to its full potential. I do admit that, my fault. I do clear out the board. He only has a go-go because it has evasive. I can't hit it. He summons Genie, draws a card. But he's already at 8 lore. I'm at 3. And if he starts doing the goat shenanigans, or if he has another go-go, he could start getting lore a little faster than I can, and I probably won't be able to outrace him. And he did go first, so he gets to ink and have an extra lore and an extra ink before I do. And here I go again, summoning Rabbit, just drawing cards, man. This is what I like Amethyst about, but I think Amethyst Steel, I need to play it way different than what I'm normally used to. I have a good board. I don't worry about like B prep or him like wiping out my board with just 1 card. He might have Rabbits, he might have Elsas, but nothing where he could clear out the board. I opted to quest because I can't challenge anything anyway. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just quest. And next turn, if my character survive, I can maybe challenge something. If not, then I'll just quest again. And Smeed being able to quest for 2, it's really good. So he's thinking again. I know it's a local. I think today was like 14 players or something. But we're both treating it like, hey, we want to win, you know, like we're out here investing our time. We want to be at least top 2. Obviously, the goal is to be top 1 and get the most packs. But top 2 is decent, and so that's what my play style goes by. Just trying to just win all my matches and learn from my mistakes. I do like to record and upload these videos for people to watch and enjoy. And also for myself to see my misplays, because sometimes you don't see them at the moment and you see them later on, or someone can comment on it, or even say something like, hey, no, you should have done this instead of that, and it would have been better. And maybe I would have never seen that. So it's always good. He quests going to 12. He has an Elsa, but he also has a Genie. I quest with Rabbit, summon Fox, bouncing Rabbit, obviously trying to get that card draw. And I know he has a go-go. He bounced a go-go, So I kind of don't want to quest with Smeed, because I'm like, if I quest with Smeed, he's going to have 1 damage. Then next thing you know, Gogo's going to get him 1 or 2 lore, and that's going to suck. I inked Pete because I know EA Tempo doesn't have a lot of action. Some of them run friends on the other side, but a lot of them don't. And the ones that do don't usually run 4 copies anyways. So that's why I'm like, all right, I don't think Pete will be much of a help in this match in particular. I think in Red Blue, he's phenomenal. But I just opted to quest for 3, going to 8. He's at 12. I do have 4 characters. He has 3 characters, but his genie is questing for 2, so that's really good. He has a decent amount of cards in hand. He has like 4 or 5. A good amount of ink, and I do too. I have like 7 ink or something, and I have like a decent hand. But let me know in the comments below what your goals are for the next chapter. Is it to become better? Is it to learn or master a different color combination? Is it to top in one of these major events? I think for me, it's just to get better as a player. Make better content, definitely, with better commentaries, and maybe videos of like tips and tricks on how to play a certain color or a certain deck, or maybe the lines, because I feel like there's specific lines for specific deck that you won't do for every single deck. It depends on who your opponent, like the colors they have. Your lines might have to switch, and a lot of the times they have to switch. For example, with Ruby Am, going turn 1 Chernobog, turn 2 Flynn, turn 3 Sisu might help you out 80% of the time, but it's not always the best thing to do, especially if you're running against Amber Steel, because they're just gonna sing Storm, get rid of your Flint, and now your turn 2 was a waste. It's better to summon Snake, because if they sing Storm, your Snake survives, and you still have a body, and you can you can remove something else with Snake before just losing a character. So I feel like learning the lines of your deck, and depending on what colors you're going against, is very important. My opponent goes to 16 questing, and I'm at 8. I have a good field. He doesn't have a lot of cards in hand. He's debating whether if he wants to quest with Crab or not. He decides to, going to 17, trying to close out the game. Pays 5, exerts Rabbit, and I'm like, okay. And I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to do damage just so he can use Gogo next turn, which is very smart of him. And because next turn he's able to do Gogo. He plays Snake for 2, bouncing his Crab, which is really good. And he left my Fox with damage. I can't challenge anything with Fox, so I have to bounce Fox or find a way to get rid of it, because if not, Gogo just wins. So I'm able to play Fox, bounce Fox, and so I'm like, okay, that's good. Quest with Rabbit, summon another Fox, so that way he's not challenging my stuff. I quest going to 12. He's at 17. I play Pete, bounce, and